I had the opportunity to see it at Biff last year, so I got to watch it on a cinema screen as well, which is fantastic. And then I watched the screener again leading up to this, and I'm so glad you guys are getting a cinema release for this film because it absolutely deserves it.
Thank you.
Oh,
We're so excited.
and definitely one of the reasons for that is the soundscape, the sound design of this film, which is absolutely a character within itself. So I'm curious to know, with the rain and the score, and one of the things I noticed is that when you can like intentionally not hear certain bits of dialogue, what was the process of working with your sound team to bring that to life?
We had an awesome sound designer, Duncan Campbell, and basically, like in the script, there was lots of sound written in, but it was one of those things that just became a beast of its own when we got into post-production. As we were editing, we realized how important it was to tell the story through the sound, and that there were so many things that we could convey through sound that would really help aid in the tension. So when it got to the stage of working with Duncan, he just blew us away and he was up for the challenge. And we basically just kept on adding layers and layers and layers and really experimenting with how far we could push it. And yeah, like I said, it kind of became its own beast where we just kept on going further and further with it.
And we were so lucky that Duncan was game to just dive into the deep end with us, because it was a big challenge and a big kind of risk for him to invest so much time in it. But we've kind of, with our short films, for their scale and budget, we've leaned really heavily by design on sound. And so we knew going in it would be the case with this as well. And there was a lot of things where we kind of kept saying to people who rightly so were like, oh, you know, like we had lots of conversations with our incredible cinematographer, Max Corkindale, about, you know, there was bits where he was like, oh, we'll have to brighten this because you can't see the person walking through the frame. And we'd say, oh, in between the lightning, there'll be sound. So, you know, that's part of the feeling of it. But when you're sitting there editing it day after day without the sound, you do start to go, oh goodness me, I hope this works. This is a bit dark bit. So it was a relief when those things started getting filled up. And then as you said, just pushing it even further than we thought we'd go, and even further than we imagined with Duncan was just so much fun. It was it was awesome.
It seems like the pardon me, sorry, it seems like the epitome of like it takes a village to make a film, right? And that trust in every department. What was that experience like? Because obviously this is your first feature film. You've said you've done shorts before. What was that like, sort of coming in as first-time filmmakers, getting the trust of your cinematographer and then your sound designers? What was that experience like for you both?
We were really lucky.
So lucky.
We have, because of the fact that we'd made some short films before, we'd met lots of people at university, and then met people through making short films, and also just watching other people's like local work in Adelaide and going, oh, that was awesome. I wonder who did that. So it was kind of just like a mishmash of some new people that we'd never worked with before and old friends who from university who are helping us in other previous films. And Adelaide's small. Everyone knows everyone. The filmmaking community here is even smaller. So it's quite a lovely place to make films because of the fact that it's just like old friends getting together all the time. And if you're missing a certain crew member, someone will know someone who will call them in and all that kind of stuff. So we were really, really lucky. We had such a lovely crew, and it was purely the fact that these guys, some of them might have not been in a head of department before, and they'd been crewing a lot and were really knowledgeable and really
That's right, they were going up and getting incredible experience.
But they hadn't had the chance to be you know, head of department on a feature film before. So it's easy choice for us because we think they're amazing, and then they wanted to do it because then they'd have that experience of working as a head of department on a feature film, and you know, getting a chance to show off how, you know, their skills in all sorts of different departments. So we were just really, really fortunate, and that was another reason, you know, why we were so excited when we got a great premiere and that we're getting a festival release, because it's a chance for all of their hard work to be seen, because we're so appreciative of it.
And this is not on paper the most important part, but I think the luckiest thing for us was we knew we were filming something in the dark, in a box, again, all in one location. We knew we'd all start to go a little crazy. So everyone was lovely.
Yeah.
That was the big thing that we, if everyone's lovely but not very good at their jobs, you're a bit screwed. But everyone was super, super amazingly talented and lovely. So it was the best environment to be locked in a dark box.
And the talent comes through, absolutely comes through on screen. I'm curious about the screenwriting process of this as well, because having watched it twice now, not spoiling anything, once you know how it ends, you watch it through a different lens the second time round and you pick up on certain things as well. So I'm curious, in the process of creating this story, what was it like sort of adding those little tidbits in there? Was it as you went along, you're like, oh, this would work, or was it you have the foundation of the story and then we're going to put the little breadcrumbs in there throughout?
I'm so happy that you said that. Yay. Yeah, it was something that's they're our favorite kind of movies, the ones with like rewatchability. And so we wanted to make sure that it played for a first and or only time viewing, but also that it had a few bits and pieces in there that that added to it if you were to rewatch the film. And I think it was a bit of both. It was, you kind of get the foundation of the story down, and then weave in little bits and pieces. Oh, that if we did this here, if we did this there, but then also in the storyboarding before we shoot. So not necessarily even in the script. It's like, oh, if we just cut to a shot of that here, that would be really cool. No one's going to think anything about it. But then when you rewatch it, it's telling you something. And then again, that happens in the edit of, oh, if we could just take that shot of this and move it here, then that's another little visual clue.
Yeah.
And so you kind of start to develop a language for the film through that changes from script stage all the way to the edit, and you just keep on weaving in as much as you can. And even in the sound, we did it in the sound as well.
Yeah.
Where we were like, oh, let's record this, and we got Brendan to come into a studio and record some stuff. And it's things that some people, most people won't pick up on the first view, maybe not even the second view, but we know that they're there, and it makes us feel really, confident in the film and in the vision, and that, we've got that really solid, evidence there in the film to support.
That's right. As long as we have the answers and we try and do the best we can with making the initial viewing a engaging experience, just doing the best we can, that's for the audience to decide. Then we kind of committed to some ambiguity with other things, as long as we had the answers and we felt like some people would, if they wanted to hunt for them, they would find them. So it was a great process.
That is how I found my second experience watching the film. I was looking for those things. I was like, when are they going to reveal that? And it was great. It's so much fun watching it the second time around. As much fun as you can have with the film this intense. I'm getting close to my time here, and I wanted to just sort of wrap up on the fact that you obviously both mentioned you're from Adelaide, and not just in Australia in general, but Adelaide seems to have been the home for some of Australia's greatest genre films the past few years. We got your film, we got Monolith, we got Talk to Me, but then like Bird Eater as well with Jack Clark and Jim Weir. Like, Australia, if I can say it, is fucking killing it with genre films at the moment. Does that excite you guys as emerging filmmakers who are really putting Australia on a map at the moment? Does that excite you guys that we are sort of delving away from the classic Australian comedy, which are great, or this, the crime drama, which is great, these genre films that are so exciting? How's that excite you guys as up and coming filmmakers?
I love that.
It's so exciting. It's super inspiring. And hopefully Australian audiences continue to kind of go out and watch these things in cinemas and support them, because more will get made naturally if people go and see them. But it's so exciting.
We've watched so many films that usually come out of America and go, why could this could totally be made in Australia? This would so suit Australians, Australian audience, Australian locations. Like you said, all those traditional kind of classic Australian films with the ute and the dog in the back and all that, that's all great.
It's great.
But also Australia is, we've always said Australia is such a huge country with such a small population, and it breeds really interesting characters, locations, and potential stories that really lend themselves to horror and thrillers. We just feel like there's such an untapped resource there of really cool niche stories that could be made on a relatively low budget that could come out of Australia. And so it's really exciting, and we hope to be a part of that wave in the future. It'd be awesome.
And I think it also comes down to sorry, that's a nice way of ending it. I should not say this, but technology wise, I think technology has just got to a place where we can stretch more into genre things at a lower budget if you don't have as much budget, because you know, we were shooting with whole scenes, whole sequences lit by one torch or one lantern. You just couldn't do that on film. Like, film's amazing, but you just couldn't do that on film. It's a result of where technology has got to. I think hopefully the next wave of filmmakers feel more confident to stretch those things and therefore be able to play in other genres without feeling like, oh, we don't have $50 million, so we can't. So I think it's a very exciting time to be a filmmaker, and I think it's kind of like throwing out a challenge to all of us to push it into a different interesting place, because Australia is a great place to make films.
Absolutely. And as an Australian film fan, that excites me too. I'm so excited to see not just what you guys do next, but these up, like all these guys making these genre films. It's so exciting for me. And it makes interviews like this so easy, because I have like 100 more questions I could ask you. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm so glad this is getting a cinematic release. I want to pump up the fact that people should go see it in the cinema. So I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thanks
Thank you so
It
much.
was lovely
Really
to talk to
appreciate it.
you.
Lovely to meet you.